ready to go? Yay! It's just filming. Here we are.
You want me to do it?
Yeah. I'm sure it was awesome. All right, my friends. This what we're going to do is we're going to do spinal cord. So, hello 231. We're going to do spinal cord, spinal nerves, and the reflex physiology. Okay, so 2 packets. We're going to walk through those. And I'm on, just so you know, I'm on the Sylvania's survival guide for A&P. It just helps us keep us organized. A couple definitions. This is actually kind of more for lecture than for lab. So when we're we're going to actually look at these two. When we're in the PNS, peripheral nervous system, if it's bundles of axons, it's a nerve, right? Here's my radial nerve, here's my ulnar nerve, okay? So bundles of axons in the PNS, always call it a nerve. Bundles of axons in the CNS, right? Brain, spinal cord, it's called tract, okay? So they have different names. Cool. All right. So, same thing again. If you're a bundle of cell bodies, you're a bunch of cell bodies together in the PNS, peripheral nervous system, then you're called a ganglia. Okay? If you're a bundle of the cell bodies, of the nuclei, cell bodies, in the CNS, you're called a nuclei. So, just something to memorize. Just fun stuff to memorize. Okay, beautiful. Here's the deal. We're talking about your spinal cord. Your spinal cord is wrapped. You've probably heard of meningitis before, right? So itis is like you have an infection or inflammation of the meninges. So you have 3 meninges that wrap the spinal cord. We will do brain as well next term. But for now, we've got 3, and it's think pad from inside out. So deep is pia. Pia is going to cover right over the spinal cord. Oh, I've got a model I'm going to show you. Then arachnoid is the next layer, and then dura is the outside meninge. No, we want the cross-section one. I'm coming back. You're fine. I got you. So, meninges. I just want to show you the meninges on this model, because this model has a lot of stuff. I don't want you to be scared yet. This is just a cross section. So we have somebody's spinal cord, right? Here it is. We're gonna we're gonna cut it. So I'm gonna cut it right here. We just took a transverse cut of that. This is NEO3 and the meninges. So if it says name the meninge, pia's covering the spinal cord. Here it is, right here. That's pia. Looks gray. The arachnoid is next. You see it? There's the arachnoid. And then the dural, is the dural, this is epidural, this is dural. So the dural and the arachnoid are right close to each other. It's rare that you're going to be asked arachnoid. What you're going to be asked for is the arachnoid space. So if you look at this, I'm putting my finger into it, okay? So I just put my finger into all these places. This is called the subarachnoid space, and it's really important because it carries cerebrospinal fluid. So that space is important, just so you know. So name the space, it's the subarachnoid space. So we've got the 3 meninges. This up here with the fat, this is the epidural space. Have you ever heard of an epidural? Somebody got an epidural, right? Where do they want to put that drug? Right in here, into this fatty area, this epidural space. They don't want to hit this, right? Because you could get paralyzed. They want to hit right here. Okay. So we're going to leave that for now. We'll come back to it in a second. We've got our meninges. Okay, spinal cord. All right, my friends, a couple things is you can see coming out of the spinal cord is yellow. Yellow always means nervous system, right? Anytime you see yellow, you're thinking nervous system, okay? So I want you to imagine with your spinal cord, I'm actually going to show you on here. When you're thinking about your spinal cord, there's going to be information coming in, sensory information, right? So that's coming from your PNS, going in, sensory. So that's going to be coming in, it's called the dorsal root. So this right here is the dorsal root, okay? And this bulb that's part of it is called the dorsal root ganglion. I'm going to show you this. This is the dorsal root, and it's carrying sensory information in to the spinal cord. Let me show you on this slide. So you've got your dorsal root, sensory information coming into the spinal cord, okay? So that's a root. There's another root, the ventral root, okay? You can call it anterior if you want. It's fine. The anterior root is going to be carrying motor information out. Motor information out. So it's over here. Let me show you one here. This is the ventral root right here. And that's carrying what kind of information? Motor. So it's carrying, I want to pick something up, right? It's carrying that motor information out. Okay. So dorsal carries it in, motor carries it out. Pretty cool? Watch it. All right, what else? Gray matter and white matter. Gray matter looks gray. It's mostly a bunch of nuclei, a bunch of cell bodies. White matter, look, it's the reason why it's white, it's a whole bunch of axons that are wrapped with myelin. Myelin like looks white. So wherever you see white, you want to think it's kind of axons that are wrapped. Whenever you see gray, you want to think it's a bunch of nuclei, it's a bunch of cell bodies. Okay, all right, so we're gonna move out for a second. I kind of need that model. Maybe we'll just go over there. Let's go over and look at the torso model together. So we're looking at different parts of the spinal cord now. Okay, so I don't know why this slide, you should be looking at a different slide. Hold on. I'm gonna just see what the next slide is. Okay. You have a big long spinal cord here, okay? And it's the names of the spinal nerves, they're named just like the vertebrae, mostly. So it's C1, C2, C3, they're coming out right between the vertebrae, C3, C4. The only issue is there are 8 cervical nerves, spinal nerves, instead of 7. Then there's 12, did you guys go over this? There's 12 thoracic nerves and 5 lumbar nerves. So nerves, they're coming out. All right. The termination of the spinal cord is around L1, L2. Okay? So what we're looking at right now is the very bottom of the spinal cord. And at the very bottom of the spinal cord, there's this cone. That cone is called Conus Medullaris, and it's important because people always talk about it. When you're below the spinal cord, down in the L's, it's going to look like a fan. The fan is called the cauda, horse's tail. So it's like a fan of nerves. I'm going to show you on that model in 1 second. Good. So come on with me. Come over here. Hi. Sorry, we're going to just borrow this. So I just want to show you. So the tail is here. The cauda is here. And then wherever so if this looks like the cone, the Conus Medullaris up here. Okay? So it should look kind of like a cone. And that's the termination of the spinal cord. Okay? Good. That's the torso model. Good to look at. All right. Okay. Now, you're looking at a slide, my friends. Only your slide is not going to be stained blue. It's going to be stained pink. I'm going to tell you the name of it. You definitely want to look at it. Where'd it go? It's like a cross-section of the spinal cord. So you want to find it? Spinal cord and ganglia. Okay? What you're looking at under the microscope is this. Okay? So you're looking at this part under the microscope. Right here. Okay? So this was the gray matter. It kind of looks like a butterfly. Alright? And then you can sometimes see the roots coming off. On ours, you're going to be able to see the roots. The dorsal root and the ventral root. You will be able to see them on our slides. Okay? Also, I think you probably need to know these horns that are down. So there's a horn on the anterior side. There's a horn on the posterior side. It just looks like it's kind of coming off, gray matter coming off. Okay? Also, there's a hole in the middle called the central canal. It's important later. Okay? Hole in the middle called the central canal. All right. Let me point that out here too. So, central canal's here, and then you've got your horns, your anterior and posterior horns. So if it's just pointing to gray matter, you're probably going to have to name a horn for it. Okay. Now, I don't know which parts of the white, I'm not sure we have all of these on our checklist, but I do know that we're going to have this thing called the anterior median fissure. This is really hard to see on a slide. Most likely you're going to see it on a model. So that's this. This fissure is like going, fissures are like deep grooves. This is the anterior median fissure. There's also a posterior median sulcus right here, just letting you know, okay? So those, that's good. But you won't see, very unlikely you'd see that on a slide, just because it gets knocked really hard. We're good. All right, I don't want you to do all of this, because this, a lot of this is for lecture, but what we want to see here is you've got your cross section, okay? I've got another model. You've got your cross section of the spinal cord. I'm going to grab another model to look at these structures with. So this one is NE04. So I'll bring it back over. So NE04 kind of looks like that. And so you should be able to pick out things like, here's my central canal. This is the gray matter, okay? This is my posterior horn. How do I know it's posterior? Because posterior is always going to have that bulb. This is the dorsal root ganglion. You're always going to have that on that back side. So if this is the dorsal root ganglion, this is the dorsal root. If so, then that means this one has to be the ventral root. So see how we have the two roots here? I'm going to throw one more thing in here. When the roots come together, this is called the spinal nerve. Right here. See where I'm putting my fingers? Wherever the roots come together, that is a spinal nerve. So like you'd have, this would be like C6, C7, you know, each one of them is coming out of your back, okay? Good. Beautiful. Okay, this looks a lot more like your slide. Okay, so rather than that blue one, this is going to look a lot more like this looks pretty good. You're going to see the dorsal root ganglion on that slide. It's big, so it's an easy structure for us to harass you about. The other thing is, if it asks you for the meninges, if it's right on here, you go pia. If it's right on top of it, go pia. Subarachnoid and the arachnoid, I don't know what happens to it. It's like a spider web, it falls away, I don't know what happens to it. So the other one that you can see is the dura, and it would be far away. So if it's asked for the meninges, you've got your pia and the dura. The other one, you can't really see it on these slides. Yeah. On the model. Okay, I'm kind of moving through stuff that we don't. Okay, this is actually what I wanted to show you before. So now you can see it. Remember, we could put a sticker around one of the vertebral columns, and it's like, we just put it on C7, and all you want to do is just count C1, C2, C3, C4, just count down. It won't be hard, but you just want to remember you have 7, or you have 8 cervical vertebrae, because that's weird, right? Instead of 7. You good? Okay, I actually think this is really hard. This slide right here is really hard. Where am I gonna show it to you? This is a really hard slide. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna leave this up. I find this very challenging to look at. I'm gonna actually show it to you on a model, this slide, okay? So there's another model. I'm gonna go grab it. What's our time? How are we doing? Good. Okay. So this model is NE14. This is definitely a model you wanna look at, okay? So it's a cross section again. You've got meninges on this. So maybe you can help me. If I ask this one that's right on, it's gray, the first one, which one would that be? Pia. The pia, that's right. So the pia's here. I think this is arachnoid and this is dura. You've got your gray matter. You've got your roots. So remember, how do I tell if it's dorsal root? I find the ganglion. It has to be dorsal root ganglion. The other one has to be ventral root. So you've got your 2 roots. The roots are going to go, I don't know if you can see this very well, they're going to connect up to a spinal nerve. Here's the trick. Beyond the spinal nerve is hard. So beyond the spinal nerve, you're going to have 3 branches. 1 branch, 2 branch, 3 branch. This is all a 3rd branch. These are called rami, or individual ramus. So we're going to name them. If it's closest to the dorsal root ganglion, it's dorsal. Right next to dorsal is ventral. And this one always looks like it's going to go and do something important. And then this other one that has a whole bunch of stuff hanging off of it, okay, this is the communicating rami, or communicantes. So there's 3 rami that you have to know. Now you can look at this slide and get it from there, or you can look at it from this model. So communicating rami, dorsal rami, dorsal ramus, ventral ramus. Okay, I'm going to show it to you on the other model. We're good. Other model. You're doing great. I just want to show it to you so you know I'm not lying. My friends, you've got dorsal root, ventral root. They come together. Common spinal nerve. You've got 3 branches. This one's going to be skinny and small. So dorsal is small and skinny. Ventral is going to be big and it's going to go off. And then this one that's dipping down is the communicating rami. Okay? You just did something that's really hard. Good job. Okay, it's over. So from the ramus, just imagine you've got all these are all nerves that are going out and they're going to go somewhere important, like innervate something important. So I want to show you that next part. I wouldn't even look at that. 3 seconds. From the rami, you've got individual nerves, but let me show you something here. Okay. This is what we want to look at. From these, you've got the ramus, right? Here comes the ramus, here comes the ramus, here comes the ramus. These are all coming together. When they come together, they're called a plexus, and you only have 4. So if it's coming out of your neck, if it's a plexus coming out of your neck, it's a cervical plexus. If it's coming into your arms, it's brachial. Okay. If it's coming into your if it's going to go down into your legs, it's lumbar plexus. And then sacral plexus does mostly genitals and the backs of our legs, so I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so you've got plexus, we're doing good. So we've got roots, nerve, rami, plexus, and now we're going to do individual nerves. I know it's a lot of information, you got this. Okay, so we're going to go up and look at one individual nerve. It's part of the cervical plexus. This is probably the only one you need to know is the phrenic nerve, and I've got a little mnemonic. C3 to 5, keep the diaphragm alive. This is a really important nerve because this phrenic nerve drops down to your diaphragm and it allows you to breathe. It's really cool. So remember the phrenic nerve, way up top. You've got a couple nerves from the brachial plexus. Don't worry about it. You shouldn't spend too much time on these, but there's a radial nerve. There's the ulnar nerve. So if it's pinky, ulnar, thumb, radial. You might have the median nerve on there. The median nerve is going to run sort of in the middle, and then it branches off, so it'll be kind of right here. You'll see it. I don't know if we have that one, but you won't be asked this way. So I'm kind of skipping through these. Okay, so there's your lumbar plexus, and the lumbar plexus, the nerves that you want, the femoral nerve would be right on the front of the leg. I don't think we have obturator. So the femoral nerve, it'd be a sticker right on the front of the legs. Sacral plexus, the big one that I always think about. Have you ever heard of sciatica? Where somebody gets sciatica, oh, pain. It runs down the backs of their legs. So your sciatic nerve is from your sacral plexus, okay? And if there's a sticker on the back, right here, it's sciatic. So this one, sciatic. So you can see there's the sciatic. That'd be the only one back here. If we might have these two, so here's the great thing. They're the names of the bones. So if it's running over the front of your shin, which bone's there? Which is this bone? Right here. Your tibia, tibial nerve. If it's on the side, which bone's there? Fibula, fibular nerve. Okay, so don't memorize these. Just, okay, I don't know if that's in our packet. I'm gonna look and see. I think we did that. Okay, we're done with that. How much time was that?
19.
Okay, just stop it. Done. Be done with it.